Hari Om. Is it me or I suddenly feel that there are little too many adults? Feels good, but I am in shock right now. कभी कभी ऐसी हसीन गलती करते रहिएगा. How many of you are visiting from outside? Anybody? The rest of you are here, so please come regularly. I thought being Thanksgiving weekend coming and people are traveling. Most of you are here. Okay, let's start with the first shloka of Bhajagovindam together. First shloka of Bhajagovindam together. And I think we have to go to the 6th shloka. 6th and 7th maybe. Let's see. Repeat after me. No, the first shloka we will all chant together. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam Bhajamudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrankarane. 6th shloka, repeat after me. Yavat Pavano Nivasati Dehe Tavat Pruchhati Kushalam Gehe Gatavati Vayau Dehapaye Bharya Bibhyati Tasmin Kaye Balastavat Kridasaktah Tarunastavat Tarunisaktaha Vruddhastavat Chintasaktaha Parame Brahmani Kopinasaktaha. यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलंगेहे गतवति वायौ देहापाये भार्या बिभ्यति तस्मिन् काये. यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे. As long as the air is enlivening this body, that is how long this body survives. It is always an inquisitive mindset, constantly wants to know what happens after death. What happens to the individual? The individual is no more. What is left behind is the physical format, the physical body. And this is an inevitable truth, that anything that which is born will have to perish. I would say, thank goodness Otherwise, even with this, the population explosion is still a problem. Imagine if this were not the case, what would have happened? Can you visualize? So thank goodness that this change that happens. And it's an inevitable fact of life. There is a beautiful work called, in Mahabharata, there are several gems of wisdom. And one such is called Yaksha Prashna. Yaksha Prashna. Have you seen the movie Kantara? Have you heard of it? So that Yaksha Prashna, Yaksha Gana, it's from the Mahabharata times. So that Yaksha who comes to test the Pandavas, it's only Yudhishthira that is left, and there he asks several questions, 160 plus questions. It's like a questionnaire, and you have to give short answers, 2-3 words. He says, what is the strangest thing in this world? What is the strangest thing in this world? Then Yudhishthira thinks and says, the most strangest thing in this world is, though obviously we see that every generation, every older generation has passed away, death is inevitable, but we roam around thinking as though we are immutable. Nothing will touch us. And those who have sought the longevity through the body, eternity through the body, in our scriptures we have referred to them as Rakshasa and Asura. If you look at all their tapas and all the boons that they have asked, what is one common thing all across? Immortality, Amaratva. Hiranyakashipu, you all know him, right? So in one session, and I said, you all know him, right? नाम सुना है स्वामी जी, कभी मिला तो नहीं. हाँ, knowing मतलब नाम सुना है क्या? His brother is killed. Who is his brother? Hiranyaksha. They were, you could say in modern terms, thorough capitalists. That is how the names are also indicative of it. Hiranya, gold. Aksha, the one who can see gold in everything. जिसको हर चीज में पैसा दिखता हो, वेल्थ दिखता हो. Hiranyakashipu was one step forward. Is he not only had that vision, but he also was indulgent. Hiranyakashipu, जो पैसे में सोता था, सोने में सोता था. Yeah, sona is used for both sleeping as well as for gold. उसको सोना बहुत पसंद था. सोने में सोना और भी पसंद था. Hiranyakashipu. After Hiranyaksha gets killed, who kills Hiranyaksha? Varaha avatar. He personally is agonizingly pained at the death of his brother. But then, to his mother and weeping wife of Hiranyaksha, if you look at Bhagavatam, that particular segment, if you remove Hiranyakashipu Uvacha, that these are the words spoken by Hiranyakashipu, if you remove that tag there and read that portion of it, it feels as though it has been taken from Upanishad directly. Atma, Amaraha, Ajaraha, it is neither born nor dies, nothing can touch it, nothing can kill it, nothing happens to that. What has been left behind is a dead carcass called this body. Thou should not weep about it. And funnily, both Hiranyaksha's wife and their mother feel reconciled and find their peace in his words. But he himself is not at peace. He immediately after that goes and does his tapas. And what was the aim of that tapas? What are the boons that he asked? First and foremost, he asked outright blunt, as this body, let me be immortal. He knew, Brahmaji would say, not possible. Law of this creation is that cannot be granted as a boon. Not possible. So Hiranyakashipu says, I knew you would say this. I have come prepared. Usually when Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva then give an appearance, they don't come with an entourage of people. They alone appear. Have you seen Star Trek? Beam me up, Scotty. So they are beamed down. For this Hiranyakashipu's case, Brahmaji comes with Sapta Rishis. They are also there, a part of it. So Hiranyakashipu says, Brahmaji, I knew you would not grant me immortality through this body. How about I ask the following clauses as my boon? I should not die inside or outside. I should not die during the daytime or the night time. I should not die up, I should not die down. Several clauses. For every clause that when he asks, Brahmaji has a strong advocates behind him, Saptarishis. He has 4 heads, right? So with the back head, he is consulting with those Saptarishis. I should not die inside or outside. So Brahmaji is asking, can I grant this? So they immediately quickly refer and said, grant it. So for every clause he is asking, and now why are they saying that it is okay to grant it? Because there is a loophole. That is how started the profession called CPA. Yeah, they make it sound like, oh, we are helping our clients. By what? By finding the loophole. So that started there. So Hiranyakashipu was granted. But what was the loophole? That when he finally died, it was not a man nor an animal. It was not inside nor outside. It was not day nor night. It was not up nor down. That's why we are said sometimes, we sit on the threshold. Don't sit on the threshold. Why? That is where ripping open happens. So right on that threshold, neither up nor down, Narasimha Avatara, where he was neither human nor animal, It was in the evening time where it was neither day nor night. He should not be killed by astra or shastra. Astra and shastra. Do you know the difference between astra and shastra? What is the difference? No, it can be used multiple times. That which is used to attack or defend by holding in your hand, and that which can be launched. ब्रह्मास्त्र एक ही नहीं, अलग अलग बार यूज कर सकते हैं. पाशुपतास्त्र भी अलग अलग बार इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. Let me say it such a way that you will remember for lifetime. Belan, is it astra or shastra? Exactly. It can be used at a close range, and if you have a good aim, it can be launched as a astra as well. Shastra, holding in hand. Astra, launching it. सबको बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है. इमीडिएटली आ गया आंसर, बोथ. So he said, I should not be killed by astra or shastra. And Bhagavan Narasimha went all natural on him. Two people are known in historic reference by their nails. One is Vajranakha. Vajranakha is Narasimha Bhagavan. The other one is Shurpanakha. Long nails. So he tore him apart. Now what is the idea of all of this story? भैया, मृत्यु से कोई भाग नहीं सकता. You cannot run away from death. It is inevitable. Are we prepared mentally? So for that, the topic, what happens after death? If you are interested to read non-sugar coated, then please read Swami Shivananda Ji Maharaj, Gurudev's Sannyasa Diksha Guru. All his written works are available for you for free to read, because it was done almost 70 years ago. 60 years, after 60 years, your copyright on that book ceases and it becomes available for everybody. So that institution put all his work in a web, and you can download it and read it. Are you interested to read it? So the website is dlshq.org. DLS, Divine Life Society, HQ, headquarters, .org. dlshq.org. Instead of searching it there, just search what happens after death, Swami Shivananda DLSHQ, and it will take you to that PDF. You can just download it and read it. It's a pretty thick book, and he quotes it from several sources of scriptures as to what happens. Many Upanishads, many Puranic literature, many Smriti literatures have spoken about it at length. What happens? The whole of 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita focuses on that. What happens to this individuality, the Jivatma, while it leaves this body, and what is its transition into the next. Now that is one unique feature of the Sanatana Vaidika Samskriti. We don't believe in YOLO. You only live once, which is the Abrahamic thought. Depending on what you do, how much you have confessed, and through who you confess, you are granted. If you do it, you are granted eternal heaven. If you are not, then you are pushed into eternal damnation. But in ours, it is not YOLO, it is YOLAM. What does YOLAM mean? You only live until moksha. Until then, this gets whole cycle repeat. So what happens? That this jiva drops this body, and according to the blueprint of this life's karma, it includes your vyavahara, transactions, it includes your intentions and intensities, and how dharmic you were, how adharmic you were. Whether somebody realized it that you were dharmic or not, everything gets jotted down. Based on that, we get the opportunity of another form of expression. And that form of expression need not be again a human birth. There are several citations that can be taken from the scriptures to understand that. We have about 8.4 or 84 lakhs of species as varieties that we can express as. If in this life we have been sucking the living daylights of everybody around, हर व्यक्ति को छेड़ के, like you have been sucking their living blood out of them. Next life, do you know what I'm talking about? Mosquito. If in this life we have only amassed, next life, this is not a scriptural reference, this is my observation. Probably we would be a squirrel. Why? It amasses a lot of things, but it forgets also where it has hidden all the things that it has saved. Many times it finds its own treasure hidden and thinks that it found a new treasure and takes it all and shifts it to a new place, thinking that one more treasure got me. And it forgets. If in this life we have been lethargic, eat-o eat, sleep-o sleep. Now such one, probably, again my guess, is such individual will become a python. One of the most effortlessly living organisms. It does not go for an active hunt. It places itself where there is abundance and waits upon its prey to pass by. Thank you, por favor. Wraps it up, swallows it, and even the digestion process is not like a fast metabolic process. It wraps itself to a pole or a tree and hangs in there for at least a month, month and a half. It literally with its strength breaks everything apart and slowly digests it. Eat-o eat, sleep-o sleep. We have 84 lakh varieties that we may be born in. Of those that have lived a very dharmic life, they get an opportunity to be born as a human again. There is another shloka, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatare Shainam. I will go through the nuances of it then. At this time, I will give you just an overall picture. Here the focus is death is an inevitability. Knowing that, how should one live? Live in such a way that every day when you wind off, that you have no regrets of that day or any other past. एकदम आराम से सो पाओगे. You will be able to sleep without any burdening disturbance. Many of us are weighed down by our own regrets, remorse, guilt. Anyway, it's very heavy that we keep twisting and turning like dosa. That's why it's called dosai. Dovar. We keep twisting and turning. Are we prepped up enough to live a regretless life so that we can face death and say, I am ready. Chalo. Have I given you that song already? When Yama comes and he asks, Chalo dildar chalo, chand ke paar chalo. You also say, Hum bhi taiyar chalo. I am also ready. That readiness comes in this guiltless, remorseless lifestyle where I have consciously lived every part of my life very dharmically with the Yajna Bhava spirit of attitude, performing every action responsibly. Now, after somebody passes away, the rest of us move on, don't we? Those who are left behind, there is no choice. We have to move on. That jiva who leaves, there is a story about that as well. It comes in Bhagavatam. There is a king who after about 20 years of married life has a blessing to have a son. He was told that that son would not live past double digit. The double digit happens, 10th year happens, and that kid dies. He happens to be a very good friend of Bhagavan Narada, Narada Rishi. So he comes to visit, offering his condolences. Then he says, Narada, this is not right. I never had a closure. I want to see this kid. Naradaji says, I don't have such power. I have only the power to take information from one realm to the other, not the individuals. That only Bhagavan Narayana can. Let's pray to Narayana. So they approach Narayana, Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, and he says, I have never done this, shall never do it ever again. But for your sake and your devotion, let me bring that individual back. So that jiva is summoned. And he says, Aho Bhagya, that I have the darshan of Bhagavan. Now, he says, no, that was not the purpose. The purpose was that your father, so he turns and he says, Kiska father? Kab ka father? The father is shocked. So that jiva, that son, explains to this father, he says, I have had millions of fathers through these millions of lives. Which lives, which father are you? I know not. Am I getting across? Meaning for the jiva, it is an intermediary period where we have an opportunity to perform our actions, and through those actions and the attitude behind it, find a method to grow in the right direction. But instead of fixing and fine-tuning this, we seem to be busy in all the unessentials. And it's not like one age group classification has done exceedingly well, better than the other age. And that, in the 7th shloka, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji covers it very beautifully. He says, Balastavat krida saktaha. When we are young, what do? We are busy goofing off, playing one thing or the other. Earlier, मेरे ज़माने में, we used to play. गिल्ली डंडा कितने लोगों ने खेला है? अरे वाह, गिल्ली डंडा. 7 पत्थर कितने लोगों ने खेला है? अरे वाह. कंचे कितने खेले? Marbles. Yeah, we all have gone marbles. That is what we used to grow up playing. Today's kids will have to first ask which platform. Is it Nintendo? Is it Xbox? It is V or Y? How do you pronounce it? Huh. Any other platforms? Roblox. बहुत ही छोटे बच्चे होंगे. So we play in these platforms. Then which game? I stopped. That was the only time I think. Oh no, I've done this also. There is this military kind of a thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? Call of Duty. 2nd or 3rd version, and I stopped. I just tried it once. I was forced to try it once. Then in the lock-in, I was asked to play Temple Run. I think it was my mother that I had to play because I had to explain Angry Birds. That was it. But they know these are the games. Balastavat krida sakta. One way or the other, goof around in some kind of games or sports or something. Balastavat krida sakta. Krida means to be using the time, resource, energy into something which is unproductive. Krida. So that is the first stage of life. As we graduate from that stage of life, we become Taruna. So in the Taruna, that is the age when I do puja, I keep asking, right? How many of you spent enough time in front of the mirror that you have to be asked to stop watching that mirror? So there is an age. Up until that age, the clothes, shoes, room, nothing is paid attention to. Then some don't grow out of it, that's a different case. Serious issue with them. Then comes the age wherein everything has to be spick and span. It has to be neatly ironed. Hair has to be nicely gelled or sprayed, curled, straightened. Those who have curly hair want straightened hair. Those who have straightened hair, they want curly hair. Nobody is satisfied, happy with what they have. Strange fatigue of our human mind. Why all this? Do you know how they pass it off as? Oh, it is about me feeling good about myself. Nonsense. Heck what, we don't know, we have not gone through that age. Stupidity. I mean, if it just for yourself, you would have PJs. Nothing more comfortable than that. Dhoti, nothing more comfortable than that. Aram se. And if you are a South Indian, a Southern Indian, you don't even need a t-shirt. Ye gamcha pehno, done. Munda veshti, done. How many of you from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra and Kerala? Right? Mundu veshti, nothing else. Nothing more comfortable than that. But why this special preparation? To seek the attention of that to one special one. I mean, through the life there are several special ones that we graduate from. But at that age there is that one special crush, squeeze. And with the doggy eyes you keep looking, and they don't pay attention. Tarunastavat taruni saktaha. The first time I saw this banner, I was still in India at that time. It's a movie. I stopped and I looked at that poster of that movie. I don't know, my mind works different. I had a good laugh. Pagalon ki tarah road ke side mein, I stopped, watched that banner and laughed. The movie's name was Kaho Na Pyar Hai. The reason I got tickled was, I mean, if you are robustly in love, you give love. You don't beg for love. Kaho na pyar hai, please. Yeah, please. Chi. Tarunastavat taruni saktaha. And then there is no middle age talked about. Where do you graduate immediately to? Vruddhastavat chinta saktaha. Before I explain this sentence defines who is vruddha. Oh, I am not old. Call me Bhaiya. Call me Didi. Get over yourself. What is the definition of vruddha? The moment instead of thinking we are worrying, we have become old. What is the difference between thinking and worrying? Both of them are in cognition of the situation which is turning into a problem. Both of them cognize it. Thinkers and worriers. The thinkers, after having evaluated and thought through, they stop the process of analyzing. They now go into the next phase of finding solutions. But what does a worrier do? Repeats the entire cycle of analysis over and over and over again and again and again, and feel the intensity of anxiety. Arey, problem hai. Problem hai. Pause and now start thinking about. They cannot pause. Then understand, Vruddhapya has already set in. When a fruit starts fructifying, आम तोड़ा है कभी? Mango. So you pluck that and then you put it in hay or rice bag, rice sack, for it to ripen. as the ripening process sets, because it's only moving forward, there is no backward winding button to it. Back, nahi hota. Similarly is Vruddhapya. It is not based on incident. Once it sets in, it overlaps our life as a pattern. So last week I had said, when we are young, we think we know it all, and what do we say? That is the IKEA attitude. I know everything anyways. Then our three words that we use are, why tell me? I know it anyways. Why tell me? As we are getting into teenage, sorry, that is when is the why tell me. The younger age is tell me why. They want to know. And as we get into old age, tell why me and worry about it. Vruddhastavat chinta saktaha. Constantly worried. The heights of worrying. You must have seen this kind of people. When there is nothing troubling them, when everything is peaceful and quiet, they worry. Oh my God, this is like the calm before the storm. Something bad definitely is going to happen. They worry that there is nothing to worry about. And bury themselves in that worry. Vruddhastavat chinta saktaha. What is after Vruddha? Tata, see you, bye-bye. So the cycle continues, right? We are born, Krida Saktaha. As we graduate, Taruni Saktaha or Tarunas Saktaha, whatever may be the case. And then Chinta Saktaha, into worries. When is it that we have actually lived? Understanding what is the priority of this human birth. Parame Brahmani Kopina Saktaha. To realize that essence of our own existence. Oh Swamiji, we don't want to be that spiritual right away. God be with you. Because this is the only life format in which that can be possible. When that is the kind of uniqueness that is being offered, why would we want to miss that uniqueness out? And because we are ridden in these kinds of patterns that which we unintelligently carry forward ourselves because we have to be with the flow. Even a dead fish is with the flow. It's only those who want to survive, not just survive but to thrive, would challenge the flow and go against the flow. Otherwise, to run around with the flow, with the norm, is a mundane existence. And the sad thing is, we have lived this kind of mundane existence for several lives. Can we take charge of our own life, make that U-turn, and use this life for that which it is essentially for, which is to realize our own true potential, true self within? How does one make this change, this U-turn? Because highlighting all the problems, which is what has been happening so far, and no solutions offered, leaves us high and dry, frustrated. Now starts the solution part of it. So if you have not attended so far, Fine. We were discussing about problems. Next week don't miss, next 2 weeks don't miss, because we will be discussing about solutions. Okay? Those who have made it an occasion today, please continue next week also. Om Shant Shant Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.